they are like energy to mine, and that's why I don't want to do as much with other instructors anymore, because their energy is just different than mine. It's not bad or a good thing, it's just different, and I'm focused on more family. I want the family vibe, I want the friend vibe, I don't want the club vibe, I don't want the superficial anything. I just want it to be me, the way I do things. When you come to the class, you're gonna feel like you're a part of my family. That's basically it. Nothing above that, beyond that. You're just gonna feel that way. You're gonna feel like you're in a place of love and fun, and you're gonna leave feeling that way. And each time you come to class, you're gonna get that, because that's who I am. That's who Baby is, and I'm just thankful that we have Dance Life. That I'm actually able to live the life that I want, doing something that I love, because I've had so many jobs in this life. I mean, so many jobs, from serving to fast food to car wash to, I even tried sitting in the office, and I got way too much energy for that. You know what I mean? You name it, I've probably done it, all over the board. But when you're doing what you love, when you have the woman or man in your life that you're supposed to be with, when you have a beautiful place to live, a great scenery, I mean, I can't complain at all. I really have heaven on earth. And if there's anybody out there that I've wronged, I completely apologize. I'm not perfect. If I said something or did something to you and I didn't know and you kept it to yourself, I apologize. I'm not a perfect person, but I'm definitely trying to be the best man I can be on this earth. And I know, for the most part, I do treat people with respect and honor. And anybody that I've been friends with, I appreciate your friendship. And if anybody that I owe, I'm going to give you that money. So I don't want that to be something over, our friendship, because I don't have it right now, but I guarantee you when I do, you will. And I just thank every single person that had anything to do with me still being here in Rockford, because I was definitely leaving. I wasn't going to be here, but I know God had this plan from the jump. I know that when I ran into my baby at the gas station, I had just told Teresa. I had just said, Teresa, I'm done with females. They driving me crazy. And she was just like, D, just chill out, man. Just, just take time for yourself for a while. And I went across the street, and it was like slow motion, because I like to open the door for people, guy or girl, mainly women. I'll be the first one to grab the door and open it. And I seen her, but I didn't realize who she was until I grabbed hold of the door. And the symbology of it, she was holding the door like open for me, and I was holding the door open for her. And then she turned her head, and I didn't see her whole face. I just seen her profile from the side. And I said, Shannon? And it was so crazy that I knew it was her. And she said she knew it was me before she completely turned. And
it was so weird. it was the weirdest experience, because we did go slow motion. There's only certain things in your life, I know other people can relate to this. It's not something that happens every day.
It was incredible.
But the only other time that's really happened to me is when I remember I was in a really bad car accident and everything slowed down. But that is exactly the same thing that happened that day. Like, you said my name, and before my head stopped turning, my brain knew it, and my brain went, D? And then my eyes landed on your face, and it was you. And from that point on, everything from the time you called my name to me realizing it was you, you realizing it was me, the brief conversation we had there and the reconnection, all of that was in super slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
And I came back home, I drove back home, and I'm sitting on my couch kind of dumbfounded, like, what just happened here? Because it's not like I've not had experiences before where I haven't seen anybody in a long time and reconnected with them, but things don't happen like happened that day. It was it was so strange.
It was incredible. I mean, I was so excited. I ran back over to Fight College. I was at Fight College at the time, and big up to Tony. I don't see you that much no more, man. But got mad love for you. So I go back over to Tony, and I'm just explaining to him, yo, I ran into my homegirl Shannon from back in the day. We used to perform, and I'm just going on, telling him about Mark and everybody, and everybody, and I was just so excited, you know. And then I remember something just said, you know, hit Shannon up. It had been like a week or so, and you were on my mind, you know. And I was like, okay, let me give her a call and see what's going on with it. And I remember you saying to me, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, nothing. And I was like, well, you if you're not doing anything, you want to hang out? You said, yeah. And I was like, well, you want to come over my place, or should I come over here, over your place? And you were like, no, you come over here. You'll see why when you get here. So it was like when I came through the door, I seen you, and then you showed me your place, and it was the weirdest feeling. It was like I stepped through a portal.
And when and we talked about that before, because the instant, we should probably clear that up. I wasn't trying to be seductive, like, oh, you'll see when you get here, come over to my place. It's because of the vibe of where we live, and it's not really, you can't explain it. And I didn't even try. I was just like, well,
it's
you'll
an
see
energy.
when you get here, yeah.
It's an energy thing.
But I wasn't counting on what happened that day either, because I've had other friends come over, of course, just, you know. But when you walked in the door, it was clear as day. What went through my head is, oh, he's home. And I had that thought, and that thought really tripped me out, because that's not...
We were just friends at that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean he's home? What? But almost immediately, it didn't take long at all. I was completely clued in to who you were, because the more we started talking,
and
only God could have known that list that I created over time, even down to the specificity of the details and so much more, that it was you.
Right.
And I had to get over being tripped out about that, because of, you know, our history of being friends, and, you know, how long we'd been friends.
Right. That was the hardest part for me, because of
I just couldn't believe that the one for me was you.
I know. And the timing of it.
And the timing, yes.
Because for me, like I said, I had rules. I had my rules up, and for you to break every single one of them, pretty much, that's what I was having a problem with. And that's what people got to be careful with. If you're healing, just allow the process of healing. But if God has somebody He wants to put in your life, He's going to put them there for the reasons that you need, that you don't know.
Totally.
And so what I needed that I didn't know was to build from the ground everything with you.
Yes.
Because you're the woman that I want to marry and be with for the rest of my life.
Right.
I know that like I know my name.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no doubt about it. I don't look at other women. I don't have that feeling of lust, or I don't have that feeling of, wow, she's hot. I mean, I can respect a beautiful woman. Don't get me wrong. I know it's attractive people, but those same feelings don't go into that.
Right. Because
you're all that I need. You're all that I want. I mean, sometimes I look at you and I'm like, are you sure, God? You know what I mean? Like, I'm this, I get to have her? You know what I mean? Because people don't know you. You know what I mean? They just know surface you. They know, you know, baby take pictures. Baby dance a little taste. They don't know who you are. I know who you are. I mean, this woman is, a genius. She's a superhero to me. You know what I mean? Like, and I tell her all the time, I like her knees, I like her shins, her shoulders. Y'all understand who this woman is. You know what I mean? But I do. And I'm lucky to know intimate things about her. You know what I mean? I'm lucky to know those things. And you guys, you know, if you're in her presence, you're in the presence of a real woman. You're not in the presence of a girl. A lot of these people out here haven't grown up in the sense of doing women-y things, what women do. It's a lot of women out here that are still doing things that girls do, and it's just because we haven't healed and what we were thrown into and not having guidance.
Definitely.
But baby has done all the work it takes to be a real woman and to be able to exude that wherever she goes, and she treats everybody with a certain respect until you disrespect her. And like I said, it's been even some girls that I had nothing to do with come against her just because whether they had an interest in me and they just really didn't respect me and baby's relationship, because people see what they see, and sometimes when you see what you see, you can't see other people's love for each other. And so that's why you got to be careful who you do that to, because if it's two people grounded and we build a foundation, I want you to know, like, before my past relationships, I've had anniversaries and things, but me and baby started our relationship with a foundation of wanting to be together first of all, and then learn about each other, understand about each other, have that friendship aspect. I mean,
that's key.
We have no arguments. We don't do that. We don't have to have arguments. There is trying times when it comes to building muscles to understand people's point of view, but for the most part, like, we don't argue. You know what I mean? I know people say, it takes time for that, but I know with all my heart, with the balance of how she talks to me, the balance in how she listens to me, the balance in the support she gives me, the balance in how she lets me be the man and take the lead when she can very easily take the lead herself. She just understands what it is to be a woman. I mean, until you really know what I'm talking about, it's just going to be a big question mark. But I know what it is to have a real woman, and I can say that from the top of the world and shout, I have a real woman. I have a real woman. She mine, baby mine, and I'm marrying her. And I'm just thankful that I know that. I'm thankful that, I'm on top of the world, y'all. And
that's how everybody should feel.
And that's what we want.
I feel that way too. I feel that way about you, and that's
what we want.
That's
for
the
people.
whole point in all of this, because when God does that, the only person, God's not a person. The only way that it can happen the same way for you, and it will, is to do it through God. Turn it over to God. Know exactly what you want.
Co-create with God.
And trust it.
Right.
And trust it.
Co-create with God.
Yes, because when it comes to you, you're ready for it. You know it's exactly what you asked for. That's why it didn't take me long. I knew who you were so quickly.
Right.
And that is a phenomenon that a lot of people describe. My papa describes it with my mom. He knew. Mom took a little bit longer, but their story is Papa knew from the moment he laid eyes on my mama. He told his friend, "That's the woman I'm going to marry. That is my wife."
Right.
That this
they've
phenomenon,
been together ever since.
And they've been together ever since. And the phenomenon is not, it's not unheard of. But I think what's happened in this culture, for so many people, and we've talked about, some of the ways that people have gotten caught up in the things that we see, come against us, it's because they haven't understood that the only way to do this is through God.
Mm-hmm.
And so once that happened, of course, this is the result.
Now, some people have a problem with the word God, your higher self, then, because you have to come up to your higher self in order to get somebody who's in their higher self.
Yes.
Now, you don't have to be
a match.
Perfect, but you have to be, like she said, you have to be a match for what you want.
Totally.
A lot of people haven't done the healing to get anywhere close to what they need, but that's why it's important to take the time. If you're not in a relationship and you're out here looking, just take time to just heal yourself. Yes. Go home and do something constructive for yourself. Write poetry.
Love.
I mean, a lot of what's going on right now is in the TV. Turn off the TV, man.
Yes.
Like, get into YouTube. Has a lot of brilliant lectures and speakers that talk about everything from healing to financial changing of your life. Like, it's everything in the world. It's an information highway right now. And since I've been with baby, that's what we do. Like, we literally live off of the internet. I mean, we're constantly watching lectures and speakers, because this is who we really are. We really are speakers. And for our friends, like, out of all my friends, before they call anybody, they're gonna call me. You know what I mean? Because of the type of personality that I have. Sure. I'm not like I'm not like most people in the sense of I go outside of, I don't stay inside the box with my thinking and my patterns of doing things. I've always wanted to improve, always wanted to seek righteousness and knowledge and wisdom. It sounds like cheesy words, but really, that's the real money. That's the real gold that people don't really understand. That is to, when you line yourself up, they call it alignment. When you're in true alignment with yourself and with God, anything is possible.
Yes.
The thing is that you have to do the work. It's not going to happen overnight, and then you're going to get tested and tried even when you're doing that work. You know, it's to see where your level of understanding is, and once you do understand it and can be that consistently, then you level up to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But it's always going to be something that you have to level up on, and in order to get the life that you want. And I can tell you right now, I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world. You know what I mean? And I'm not even close to what I'm about to do in the future. I know who I am, and I know who she is, and I know who God is. So it doesn't matter what it looks like. I know the illusion of what things look like, because I've had so many downfalls my whole life that I had to see through the illusion and know I was going to get through it somehow, some way. And when I don't have any more options, I just give it up to God, and He always sees me through.
Yes.
And if you don't want to say God, then your higher self, because that's the same thing. Your higher self is God, because when you come up to your higher self, the understanding is, you know, here's good, here's bad, and here's love. You know, love beats both. You know, and that's how I operate. You know, and anybody who can't see that, I'm sorry. You know, and I you know, things have changed for me in my lifestyle. I can't do the same things that I used to do last year. A lot of that partying and stuff is over for me. I'll go out every once in a while and have a good time with my friends, but it's not necessary for me anymore, because I see the truth about what's going on in our world. And since I've been on, you know, these lectures and learning the truth about what real healing is, and the truth about what real life is, you know, sports. Anybody that knows me knows I'm the biggest Steeler fan there is. Like, I got Steeler everything. I'm not watching any more football games. I haven't watched TV pretty much for a year. You know what I mean? I watch movies. You know what I mean? Every blue moon, when I'm wiped out from the studying, me and baby will put on a good movie when it's raining or something like that, and we just need to chill. But for the most part, baby don't even watch TV or movies. She'll entertain it with me, you know what I mean? But it has to be something of good nature, because she don't like things that mess with her spirit, to bring her spirit down to a lower level. And that's what's another thing we want to talk about, is where we operate in our energy. If, you know, we're listening to,
which is the point of why all this dialogue has
go ahead, baby.
Been about, you have to make different choices when you're presented with information that opens up your perspective. And so it's basically, the best metaphor I have for it is taking the red pill from the Matrix. And once you've taken the red pill, you can't go back. So once you've seen that certain things, maybe the choices that you've made, maybe they served you for a time, but you've outgrown them, or they've become something that doesn't serve you the same way anymore. Maybe it's just because it's become a stagnant situation with, you know, what you're doing at work, or what's going on in relationships. No matter where it's at, when you reach that level of discernment that it needs to change, then it's one of my most favorite quotes, and I'm not going to get it right verbatim, but to paraphrase, it's from The Alchemist, and it's my favorite book. But when you're on your personal legend, the whole universe conspires to help you. And the point of that is, whatever you're doing, if you're doing what you love, you are in line with whatever you want to call it, God, the universe, the creator. But when you're in line with that, it does seem as if things will conspire to help you. We live in a magical place. It's more magical than logical to me. And every time there's been a situation where I didn't have any more solution or a way out, one magically appeared. And so whatever you want to call that magic, God, the universe, there is definitely something that conspires on your behalf to help you when you're in alignment. And that's what this whole dialogue and the future dialogues that we have are going to be all about.
We do this every day.
Exactly.
We
Is
do this every
the
day.
discernment that all these things that we see in our personal lives and all the things that we study, we're trying to put them in practice, however awkwardly, together, and to experiment with the results of those practices, because that's all we can do.
Right.
So